Intercom astutely had recommended Hal Holbrook as the narrator. We had someone else in mind in the beginning, and then they recommended Hal, and I said, that's perfect. And he is of the era, and I went out to Hollywood to work with him at his favorite recording studio. Hal is one of the true gentlemen in the business, and we had such a great time recording the narration for this film. Basically, we spent a lot of time talking about our kids. He has several kids, and he was telling me about, what they're all doing, and he found out that I had 4 kids, so he kept calling me Dad throughout the session. Okay, Dad, what's next, Dad? So it was very, very enjoyable, and obviously his performance is without peer. One incident I wanted to mention in the credibility that he brings to this read is when I was there in Hollywood recording with the engineer, and Hal was reading through, and we got to the part on Pearl Harbor. He stopped, and he pulled back, and he said, "I'll never forget that day. I remember exactly where I was when we heard the news about Pearl Harbor." As he started into this, myself and the audio engineer kind of sat back, and then he continued, and he said, "We were all in the dorm rooms. We were all in school, and there was a radio playing down the hall, and there was all this excitement, and we all gathered in this one room and we're listening to the reports of Pearl Harbor, and we were completely silent, because we knew that from that moment on, our lives would be different." Working with the veterans on this project has been one of the great pleasures of my filmmaking career, basically, because I wanted to really be their story. And I worked with Michael Samick, who is the chairman of the National World War II Glider Pilots Association, on accuracy, and we've become good friends over the months. He's 86, and as sharp as a tack, and he's lived his life, and he says to me, "I want to see this done," in his Austrian accent. "Robert, I could go out and get hit by a bus tomorrow. I just want to see it done." And I say, "I agree with you, Mike, and I'm happy to be doing it." And he and the rest of the veterans have a perspective on this country that people like myself, younger, do not have. They lived through the era. They've seen what the country has become, what direction we're heading. They all have their varied opinions on that. And there's no bitterness there. They feel like what they did was right. They feel like their efforts meant something to the overall war effort, and I agree. And they have this humility about them, which when you first meet them is sort of disarming, because they did so much for the war effort and were so brave that they downplay it a lot. So when I was writing the script, I wanted to bring out their bravery without saying that they were brave so often. So I used what they had said about themselves, which I thought was great. And towards the end of the film, I had written in the section about the G on their wings, because they say that about themselves. The glider wings are a G in the middle, and they say the G didn't stand for glider, it stood for guts. And I absolutely agree with that. What I hope people take away from Silent Wings, and it was intentional in the writing, is the sense that these were a group of guys, and as part of 16 million people in uniform for America during World War II, that really felt like they were part of something greater than themselves. And they were able to give incredible effort on behalf of this country. And they were swept up in a cause, the cause of liberty for this country. And you find this in soldiers, obviously, caring about their brother, their fellow man or woman. And these gentlemen were no different. They were swept up in a cause. And I want people to realize that sometimes there are issues that are greater than themselves. And these men were warriors in that battle to preserve our freedom and liberty and for our children, for their children and our children and future generations. For the veterans themselves, I'm just proud to have been able to produce this for them, so they have a lasting legacy, a lasting document of their accomplishments in World War II. It's quite an honor to be able to have done this.